welcome to Rev Shots, your weekly dose of quick hit wisdom, where we tackle the most pressing topics of the day for ourselves and our revenue teams. Our show features expert guests with decades of experience. We delve into what works and why, sharing tools to be unapologetically successful, from making our number to delighting our clients. If you're ready to boost your knowledge in under 30 minutes on a weekly basis, tune in. Follow me on LinkedIn or join our mailing list to stay updated on our latest. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us for episode 80. Well, this has 71. I think we had to reschedule a few times, but we're actually on 81, episode 81 with Arjun, and I'm so excited to talk with you. We have been in contact for the last year and a half, if not a little bit more. So we've known each other. Our paths have crossed, Revenue Enablement Society at their conference. And so really excited to have you join us today, Arjun. And as everybody knows, thank you for joining us today. Rev Shots is designed to bring people like Arjun to you. So whether you're listening now or listening later, you're going to get some wisdom, some perspective, some reframing that's going to help you with your journey at the end of the day, which quite frankly is all about customer success, revenue excellence, and being a good human at the end of the day. So again, thank you for joining us. We're really excited. For those of you, I wanted to share the announcement, a couple of announcements for you. I have a book coming out in early 2026 called Lead with Soul. And I'm in the middle of interviewing revenue excellence and revenue excellence leaders and leaders in general who have learned how to lead with soul and make a very large impact, not only on their revenue organization, but with their people, and kind of creating this alumni network. One of the phrases I've heard in interviewing folks is feedback that this CRO had gotten that said, as a leader, you don't get to write the last chapter of your leadership book, your team does. So we're going to be dropping some practical how-to lead with soul, be a human, and be successful. There's nothing wrong with that. Let's just not be a jerk about it. So please follow me on LinkedIn, tune into our show. And with that, Arjun, I am so excited. I love talking with you. It's always so fun. I love what Docket is doing. I was so intrigued when we met. We talked about it before. And I always like how things work, right? So, but before we dive into the one question that everybody answers on this show of what is the one thing you're hearing right now, tell us a little bit about you and a little bit about Docket, please.
Awesome. Thanks for having me. It's awesome to be here on a Friday morning. Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Arjun. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Docket. Prior to Docket, I have built two companies in the sales tech and martech space. I've been fortunate to sell both of them pretty well. And just before Docket, I sold my second company to ZoomInfo, which many of your listeners might know. ZoomInfo is a publicly traded company. Yep. I started as an SVP of product, built out their ABM platform along with my team. Then when I left ZoomInfo, I was the chief data officer of ZoomInfo and then started Docket. At Docket, we have been at this for close to 2 years now. We have raised about $20.3 million. We are a team of 40 people and serving a bunch of customers.
Nice. I love that. Thank you, Arjun. And I think I forgot I knew about your background and history. And so I love your journey. So tell us a little bit about Docket, the solution you're bringing to your clients, and maybe what was the genesis of the idea?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, my background in sales tech and martech, I've been in this space for good or bad for the last 13 years. And so I've known the evolution of this space all the way from the early marketing automation, then to the outbounding campaigns, then the social media into B2B, and then the account-based marketing. So while I was at ZoomInfo building out the account-based marketing platform, one thing that I consistently noticed is marketers do a bunch of amazing things, and then they pull together people onto their website. And then on the website, the conversion that they receive is like 1.5%. An average B2B website, there is 1.5% of the people submitting the form. Many websites are actually worse than that. Like there are ones at 0.79%. So that's like a huge inefficiency in this whole process where roughly 99% of the whole marketing spend is not getting converted into something more meaningful. One thing that I noticed is everybody coming to your website, they have a question that they have. What is this company? What does this product do? Does it integrate with my Salesforce? Are they GDPR compliant? Whatever is that question, they have it, but they don't want to speak with a human yet. They want to do all the research by themselves. And this is an opportunity that the marketers actually lose out because they don't get to connect with these people in real time. So Docket has built what we call as a marketing agent that is like deploying your best sellers on the website. So our marketing agent will sit on the website and can do a human-like conversation with everybody coming to your website.
Interesting.
The way humans talk, right? Like you and I, we use voice, we use text, we use slides, we use images, we use videos. What we call as a multi-modal interaction is what humans do. And our agent can do all of these. It can use voice, it can use text, it can use slides, it can use videos, it can pull up calendars, it can route it to the right person, it can alert people on Slack. So that's why I called it, and it knows all about your products and offerings and services.
Interesting.
So what we see is people love talking to the agent. Sometimes they can even be rude to the agent. They cannot be rude to humans. Like if you ask me what's my name, I'm not going to say, I'm not going to tell that. But we see that humans do that to agents, and that's okay. They are like, they don't want to be known right now. They're like, I don't want to give you my email, but answer my question. And our agent be like, yeah, that's fine. You wanted to see if we had a Salesforce integration. We do.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the kind of, I believe that every single website in the future will have a concierge agent.
Yeah.
And Docket is building that concierge agent.
Yeah, I love that. And of course, my brain is going to how. And so for those of you that are also listening now or later and going, how does that work? Never fear, we've got you covered. Arjun is coming back next Wednesday, September 24th at 10 a.m. Pacific, and he's going to give a brief overview of Docket, addressing the question we're going to get to here in just a second. But in the meantime, you can definitely go to Docket's website and take a look. But he will be back with us on Wednesday to show it to us as well, share his platform with us. So Arjun, I just think it's fascinating. To your point, we live in a self-serve economy. We live in a self-serve environment. I am not particularly a fan of it, but I get it, right? I think that when Napster came out and said, you can get your own music however you want, I might have been in the minority that said that is a terrible idea. I don't want self-serve. Yeah. I'm good receiving what an expert has put together in an album to tell a story. Right? Now, that's my perspective, army of one here. However, I also can see, though, to your point, what I like what you said was, if I have a specific question, one, how lovely that we've actually identified what we're hoping to solve for, right or wrong. We think we've identified it. And two, what you're talking about is meeting that specific need. And I think that is really impactful at the end of the day. We're not talking about, back in the 80s when you could make a mixtape, or now you can make a playlist. They're all the same but different. What we're talking about is solving a specific need from a business perspective. And so I really like that, because I think we live in kind of that bottom line, I just need the answer to the test world. Thoughts on that?
Yep. Yeah, no, I agree. Generally the world has evolved a lot, right? Like people have gotten to this on-demand world. I remember when I was growing up, if I had to listen to a song, I had to wait for the cable TV to stream it and then catch them exactly at that time. I'm dating myself saying this, but but now I want a song, or for the past few years, I want a song, I get that song. Spotify. I want that video, I'm gonna get that. YouTube. I want that movie, Netflix, right? So the on-demand economy has completely changed the way in which we think. And now coming to B2B, we are still like, okay, you want that answer, submit the form, and SDR is going to call you, and then they are going to qualify you, and then wait for 2 weeks to set up a meeting with account executive, and then hopefully that account executive will answer that question and show you a demo. Right? That's like such a broken experience in B2B.
It is. Yeah.
Flip The other thing is when we are giving this agent to marketers put on their website, the agent is going to have a bunch of conversations with the people who are coming to their website. Now, marketers are getting the kind of interaction insights that they never had before. So now they are like, what are the questions they're
Right.
asking on the website? And we looked at our data, right? Like pricing questions, integration questions, data security compliance question, feature question, partnership question, hiring question. So there are a bunch of themes that come up, and then we create content to answer those questions on the website itself, right? So that's the ideal way. That's how you increase your website engagement over a period of time, serving your buyers' needs. So there is also this intent data or the insight data that was not accessible to you in the past because you couldn't have put like a real-time AI agent on your website. Now that's also open for marketers. So I believe this is the way in which we would go, and people are loving the experience generally. And I'm sure that we will all get tuned to this. Just like the Netflix on demand, we're going to get used to the website concierge agent on demand.
Yeah, I agree with you. And really, really well said, Arjun, where the old system of wait, right? Submit and wait. And then we all sit there and go, oh, great. Now I'm going to get qualified in, qualified out. The conversation's going to be crappy.
Yep.
And then 9 times out of 10, sorry, everybody. Right. But then it's this next evolution where, to your point, if I have a question right now, I don't want to wait 4 weeks for the answer at the end of the day.
Yep.
And so I agree with you on all of that. And I'm going to inject just a little something here, and then I'm going to ask you our question that we ask everybody. So I am in the middle of getting my certification as an NLP practitioner, neuro-linguistic programming practitioner. And one of the really interesting facets right now, and I think the tie-in here is the fact that we are information overloaded at the end of the day. And so the stat right now and how the brain works is we are basically bombarded with 2 million pieces of information throughout our senses, like on a daily basis, between video, song, sound, touch, taste, smell, 2 million. And the brain at this point, to your point, everything is evolving. We either delete, distort, or generalize. And so if I submit a request today on Friday and somebody gets back to me 2 weeks from now, and that's happened, I don't remember my train of thought with that because I've moved on. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So I agree with you. That's really impactful and powerful.
Yeah.
So, $1 million question for you today. What is the number one topic you're hearing right now that is people are talking about?
You're asking an entrepreneur who is right in the middle of the AI and sitting in the Bay Area. So the number one thing that I hear all the time right now, since I speak to a lot of revenue leaders and B2B buyers, is the confusion that they have with AI. Everybody is hearing AI. That, to your point, you said we received 2 million inputs. B2B buyers are getting 1 million of them with AI. Like they are hearing so much AI every day. And the board is kind of pushing. Most of the companies' boards are like, hey, what have you done with AI? They're asking every single leader, what have you done with AI? And that is that the AI leaders, the B2B leaders are like, oh, like, I now have to figure out, I now have to give them an answer. So this AI confusion is what I hear. And the confusion is at multiple levels. The first thing is people were trying to understand what AI is, and suddenly they started hearing AI agents. And everybody has got a different definition of what an agent is. And then people hear about how do I figure out what to use AI for? So do I do based on KPIs? Do I do it based on ROI? Do I do a pilot with this vendor? I have like 150 vendors pinging me at the same time. See, there are like 5.5 million companies in US with more than 5 employees. There are roughly about 60,000 companies with over 250 employees. So everybody is pitching these 60,000 companies pretty much, because 250 employees is when you can sell something to them. And imagine that out of these 50,000 companies or 60,000 companies, there are like 5 decision makers on an average, right? Or 10, let's say. That's like 3 million to 6 million decision makers. So all these companies are pitching these 3 million decision makers and influencers.
Yep.
And thanks to all the investment that is happening in AI, all the vendors have a lot of money. Investors have pumped in so much money in such a short period of time in the last few years that there is so much money with the companies and everybody is pitching AI. And then on top of that, the incumbents have all moved super fast with AI and they are also pitching. Salesforce, Microsoft, everybody is pitching, here is our AI thing. And the B2B buyers are like, I don't know what to make out of this.
Yeah.
This is the confusion that I hear. And I'm happy to explain more, but just to throw my answer out.
I love that. I agree with you. Nobody knows. I'm going to give a supposition, and then my follow-on question is pressure test that supposition, and I'm okay to be incorrect. I want to hear from you how you are solving this problem for your clients and how you are maybe guiding folks to it. Because the supposition I have is AI is an amplifier. And I could be wrong about that, right? And so AI is a tool. It's another tool in our toolkit. And a tool only works if you have structure and or know how to deploy that tool appropriately. It is not a done for you system. And so that is my supposition is you've got folks that are, I was just talking with another client of mine and they're using AI. They have really, miracle of miracles, dialed in SOPs in certain cases. And so they've been able to leverage AI to streamline some of their processes. But again, the supposition is you can only use AI to streamline something, a process that's already dialed in. And so that's kind of the what, not the how. So I want to talk with you a little bit about the how. How are you seeing companies address the confusion? Because we all have it. We all don't know. How best should I use it? Where do I deploy my dollars? How do I reposition my team?
On what you mentioned with AI, I think it is what you mentioned and. So you mentioned AI is an amplifier. You mentioned that AI is a tool. But I would say yes and in the first one, AI is an amplifier, yes. But AI is not just an amplifier because AI is making it possible to do some things that were not possible before.
Oh, interesting.
I'll give an example. With what we have built with Docket, let's take it as an example. It's a voice agent that has the ability to interact in real time and pull tools that are in like pull slides, pull videos, all of that in real time. So that kind of an interaction was not possible to be built like a year back.
Correct.
It wasn't
That's
possible.
A good point.
So it is not just amplifying a process that was there. It is actually creating a net new ability for companies and business leaders. It will certainly amplify many things like proposal writing or like agreements or your legal reviews or landing page creation or so there are all these processes and things that people were already doing that you can accelerate and amplify. And then there are some things that were not possible. You couldn't have put a human to interact with everybody on your website. That is just not possible. But you can put an AI to interact with everybody on your website. That is possible. So it's not just amplifying, it's actually creating things that were not possible. So it's amplifying and net new on the first one. On the tool part, I think absolutely AI is a tool, right? AI is like a brainstorming tool. AI is a generation tool. AI is a reasoning tool. Absolutely. But again, also tool and. The and part is AI can generate outcomes. So the difference between like a last generation of a SaaS company is that imagine Zendesk. It's a customer support tool where I can manage the incoming support tickets. I can route it to a bunch of people. I can solve that problems and then make sure that I get it is a good response, it's a bad response, kind of close the loop with Zendesk as a tool. Versus now with AI, what happens is an incoming ticket will come in. AI will just do the whole thing and will resolve that whole thing. So the outcome of resolution is now delivered. So is it a tool for humans? Absolutely. But is it just taking over and doing that whole thing and delivering the resolution as an outcome? Yes. So there is Today, if you deploy an AI for support, there is a significant chance that you're going to get 40 to 60% deflection without you doing anything. Like 60% is like done for you. Then for the next 40%, AI is a tool for you because those are more deeper questions that the human has to attend to. So that's what amplifier and net new tool and outcome is how I would define
I
AI.
love that too, because that's a really good point too. I love this conversation because to your point, when I was a practitioner in seat, and yeah, it was a while ago, but I feel like even now, to your point, things that we're doing now were not possible a year ago. And I feel like technology is catching up with a lot of the things that we did want to do. We just couldn't before because the technology didn't exist and it was easier to keep a spreadsheet.
Exactly.
Interesting. Okay.
Exactly.
So how are you talking with your clients about getting clarity around AI confusion?
The first thing that I tell them is please don't go after the newest shiny things that you see, because you're hearing a lot and many of these things will look very shiny, right? And as humans, we are always excited about new things that are new. Novel things excite us. That's how we are built. But and you should do that in B2C, because most of your personal purchases are emotional purchases. Apple launches a new thing, you don't need that new phone, but you will still buy that new phone. A lot of them will, at least. So that is fine. Go do your emotional purchases in your B2C. The shiny thing makes sense. But in a B2B world, you have to start from something. And when I tell something, it is either what are the top problems that you are seeing in the company. So go talk to the folks that you have and then ask them, where do you people find the biggest problem? Like, I'll give an example also. You go and ask any company, is RFP a problem? Everybody will say, yes, RFP is a problem. So that's an example of going and looking for a problem and starting to solve from there. The next thing is go look at your processes and identify a KPI that is the bottleneck for you. So let's take the market funnel. Is your top of the number of people coming to your website a problem? Is the conversion a problem? Is the opportunity creation a problem? Is the closed one a problem? Or is the expansion a problem? Or is the pilot to close one a problem? So look at the entire thing. I now spoke about 7 KPIs. One of them might be the biggest bottleneck for you. And every single one of this has a different solution. If you want to increase the number of people on the website, that's a different problem. If you want to increase conversion, Docker is the solution, FY. I'm just kidding. So if it is conversion, then you have a different solution. If it is a pilot to closed one, that's a different problem. So look at that KPI that you want to move, and then look for the vendors who can specifically talk about that KPI and move that KPI for you. So that's the second way to look at the problem. So my point is either you start from a problem statement or you start from a KPI that you want to impact, and then look at the vendors who can solve that for you. And I'll also give you a quick idea of how you can do it. Once you identify the problem or the KPI, go to ChatGPT, put ChatGPT 5 thinking model and say, I am the CRO of this particular company. Here is my website. Go read that and understand what we do. This is the product that we recently introduced to the market. And we see that the attach rate of this product to my core product is very little. Give me a full research about how my competitors are doing it. Who are my competitors? How do they do it? And give me a full plan of how to address this problem. Also give me a list of all the vendors who can help me with this problem. And ChatGPT, and put it in a deep research mode. ChatGPT is going to go do it for 7 minutes and come back with a bunch of vendors. I'm not saying it'll be 100% accurate, but rather than you going and talking to 15 vendors, you're going to get 5 vendors who you can talk to, and you're probably going to get pretty close to it.
That is brilliant.
So
I love that. So just to recap, make sure I'm understanding too, is really, yes, there's confusion, but the confusion is lack of clarity. And in order to get clarity on where to start is sit down, carve out time on your calendar to think and address and look and brainstorm what are the biggest issues you're hoping to solve within your organization, problem-wise, process-wise, or KPI-driven. So really stop and think it through, get the data, and then basically go to ChatGPT and put it into deep research mode and almost write the super prompt. Because I think that's another thing that not all of us do all the time, is really think about the prompt we're writing to give the tool enough direction for what we're actually wanting in return. Like, what is the outcome I'm wanting for? So sit and think through, what is it you're asking ChatGPT to come back with? Then you're going to get your answers. You need to pressure test that because it gets it wrong sometimes. Then you take it to your team and come up with a plan. So I think sometimes that may sound a lot to folks, but if I had to think it through, like, that is an hour's worth of work that is going to save you so much in the long run, right? Like, it's the slow down to speed up. It's the if you have the plan, it's basically preparing to succeed versus not planning to fail. So
yeah, and there's a tip for prompt writing, which makes it easier. When you have to type the prompt, that is when it is tricky. There is a transcription mode in ChatGPT where it's a mic icon. So you just turn on that mic icon and just sit back and talk. I am this guy.
I do that
The
too.
problem. And you make all the mistakes that you want in the middle and say, sorry, that's not what I meant to say. This is what talk for like 4 or 5 minutes. It doesn't matter. And then press the tick button. And then it's going to transcribe that whole thing. It becomes like this huge band of text. Go, right? As long as you have put GPT into the thinking mode and give an extended thinking and put it into deep research, it's going to figure out every mistake that you made, but your prompt will be very good to a point where it'll give you the things that you're looking for.
Yeah, that is a great tip. And thank you for saying that. I love talk to text. Love, because not all of us are really great writers. We're not supposed to be. And so to your point, we can get a deeper, richer experience describing it and articulating it. And it helps us think it through too. So like, there's the other research that says our brain doesn't cement it unless we talk it out loud at the end of the day or write it. So
yeah, there are so many of these things. One thing I do is when there is internal meetings happening, it's all getting recorded today. Almost every meeting is. I download the transcript and I put it into ChatGPT and say, hey, there is a place where we are focusing on this problem statement. Read through that whole transcript of that discussion, and I need your help to brainstorm solutions. So, you can just start using ChatGPT or anything you're using, Claude or anything you're using in different ways, and it's going to give you like a big push closer to where you want to go.
That is brilliant. And thank you. Thank you. This show is amazing. I love everything you just said. Arjun, where can people find you and what should they do next?
First thing you do is figure out if whatever I'm saying is true. So go to docket.io. In the middle, there is going to be like an agent that pops up. Just click on that and start talking to that agent. And you will see the experience that I'm talking about, right? And again, you buy, you don't buy, it doesn't matter. But at least experience that. Second, to find me, LinkedIn is the best place. Search for Arjun Pillai. And I'm pretty active on LinkedIn a couple of times a day at least. So that's the best place to find me. I am looking forward to coming back on Wednesday and kind of showing specifically on how Docket helps marketers and marketing leaders, how we help you get started with a GTM AI strategy, how we can deliver a quick win, and how we help our team to generally not just sell Docket, but also be that consulting advisor / partner for their AI journey.
Yeah, I think, again, brilliant. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you for joining today. All right, everybody, make sure you are checking out docket.io and then come back on Wednesday. Either join us live or make sure you're catching the replay either on my LinkedIn feed, Arjun's LinkedIn feed, or the Revenue by Design YouTube channel. All right, everybody, make it a great day, make it a great weekend, and we will see you soon.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.